It was a quiet spring morning in Seoul, the kind when the city's usual hum feels tempered, as if the world is holding its breath. At 7:32 a.m., the official news alert buzzed across phones and televisions. Chinese actor Yu Menglong confirmed dead, unexpected passing. In that instant, a ripple of disbelief shot across East Asia's entertainment world. Fans in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou gasped at the screens. In Seoul, cafes paused mid-service. In drama studios, costumes hung motionless. Even across language and national divides, Yu's presence had been felt, his roles in romantic dramas, his gentle smile, his shared appearances with Korean stars in Pan-Asian productions. And at the Blue House, the presidential office in Seoul, one man leaned forward over the morning briefing, eyes lingering longer than usual on the flickering newsfeed. Subscribe for more emotional K-drama love stories. That man was President Lee Jae-myung, sworn into office only months earlier, on June 4, 2025. Though a head of state often measures words with formal caution, this moment would test that restraint. Inside the presidential press room, word traveled fast. Reporters had already gathered, some in suits, others nervously adjusting microphones. Cameras were rolling. The sense of urgency was palpable. At 9:15 a.m., President Lee entered the room, flanked by aides, his face composed yet visibly gravely silent. The opening flash of cameras followed him, and the room hushed. He approached the podium. For a long moment, he simply gazed at the microphones, collecting his words. Fellow citizens of Korea, distinguished members of the press, and friends across Asia, today, we mourn a loss not only for China, but for the entire Asian cultural community. His voice was firm, but softer than in his usual speeches. Yu Menglong's unexpected passing leaves a void in the world of film and television. His performances radiated warmth, sincerity, and a deep sense of humanity. In his smile, many found hope, in his roles, many found solace. Then, bending toward the human side of grief, President Lee's voice cracked subtly. I do not claim to have known him personally. But as someone, like many of you, who grew up watching dramas, reading subtitles, glimpsing lives across borders through screens, his work touched my heart. The press room was silent. Journalists exchanged glances. Some felt the restraint, others glimpsed the sincerity. He continued. Today, South Korea offers its deepest condolences to the people of the People's Republic of China, to Yu Menglong's family, his colleagues, and his fans. May his spirit rest in peace, and may his legacy endure in our hearts. He paused. In this time of sorrow, we remember that art transcends walls, that shared laughter, tears, and longing know no nationality. May we carry forward the spirit of unity and empathy that artists like you embodied. Then he stepped down from the podium, leaving behind a silence that resonated louder than any statement. Later that afternoon, in his private study at the Blue House, President Lee sat alone before a small screen. On it, clips from Yu Menglong's best works, a tender glance, a tragic farewell, a bold gesture, played in succession. He watched them, unmoving, as if trying to absorb not just the images but their emotions. An aide knocked and entered softly. Aide, sir, would you like me to prepare a formal condolence letter to the Chinese president? President Lee nodded, his gaze never leaving the screen. Lee, quietly do it. But also, I want us to plan something symbolic. A moment of tribute in Gwanghwamun Square. A screening. Let the Korean people share this morning. The aide paused, then nodded. As she exited, Lee remained seated, eyes reflective. In those quiet minutes, the head of state became a man remembering a beloved actor, not just from China, but from the shared cultural tapestry of East Asia. In Beijing, news of the Korean president's statement spread swiftly. Chinese foreign ministry officials expressed appreciation for the condolence. Korean media amplified the gesture, headlines ran with translations, commentary, and debates. Television channels in China replayed the press conference with Korean subtitles. Social media filled with posts. The president of South Korea also shed tears. Even the Korean president cried, was a trending comment. Fans posted side-by-side photos of Korean stars bowing to a screen, Korean flags draped over memorial candles, all in tribute to Yu. Chinese diplomatic postings included excerpts from President Lee's statement, and in reply the Chinese ambassador to Korea responded publicly. "We thank President Lee Jae-myung and the people of South Korea for their deep sympathy and shared grief. In this difficult moment, cultural bridges like those built by Yu Menglong remind us that humanity is stronger than politics." In Seoul, the Blue House's Korea-China Cultural Office released a plan, A Night of Light and Memory, held in Gwanghwamun Square under the moonlight, a public screening of Yu's iconic works, lanterns, and floral tributes. The president was expected to attend, but without announcement of remarks, letting silence speak. From Busan to Incheon, from Jeju to Daegu, Korean fans gathered in small clusters, some in cafes, some at university campuses, some simply in front of their TVs. They lit candles, shared subtitles of Yu's dialogues in Korean, and wrote messages in Korean and Chinese. "Your eyes are still here. Your smile will always be in our hearts." K-drama fans who had often watched joint China-Korea collaborations circulated mashups, scenes where Yu acted opposite Korean actors, crossover dramas, behind-the-scene clips. Tears were shared on TikTok, Instagram, Bilibili. The fandoms of both nations intertwined. Among Korean celebrities and drama producers, tribute posts poured in. A leading Korean actor posted, "I once met Yu Menglong on set in Beijing. He was so gentle, so earnest. I will never forget how he insisted on speaking Korean lines himself. Rest in peace, my friend." A Korean director tweeted, "Tonight, I'll dedicate the final scene of my drama to him. A light fades, but stories live on." That evening in Gwanghwamun Square, the cold night air carried a hush. Thousands assembled, some with umbrellas, many holding paper lanterns. A large screen stood at the plaza's center, flanked by Korean and Chinese flags. Quiet music, a soft piano cover of a song from a Chinese drama, played. President Lee arrived quietly, without fanfare, accompanied by only a small staff. He walked slowly to the plaza, head bowed. There was no stage, no red carpet, no grand address. He stood among the people. On the giant screen played a montage, Yu's earliest performance, a behind-the-scenes smile, dramatic close-ups, cast reunions. The audience watched, silent, some wiping tears. When the montage ended, a single line appeared in Chinese and Korean. "The light of your dreams shines on. The light of the dream always shines on human beings. The light of dreams shines on people's hearts forever." At that moment, President Lee stepped forward into a small spotlight, and removed his jacket. He raised his hand, lit one lantern, and released it. The flame flickered upward into the dark sky, followed by lanterns from the crowd. The collective glow drifted like drifting stars. He turned to the audience and spoke, softly. "In this silence, we speak what words cannot. We grieve not only an artist, but a bridge of hearts. May his soul journey beyond, and may we, in our small ways, carry forward the kindness he gave us." He bowed deeply, and then quietly slipped away into the crowd. Inside the Blue House the following day, aides and cultural advisors convened. They discussed how to memorialize Yu Menglong in a lasting way, perhaps a Korean-Chinese joint memorial fund for young actors, a special film grant, or a cultural exchange festival named after him. Aide 1, Sir, some Korean universities would like to host a symposium, Yu Menglong and East Asian Cultural Exchange. If you endorse it, we can issue a presidential letter. Lee, do it. Culture is diplomacy in its purest form. Let this tragedy also seed stronger ties. Another staffer, we also have requests for you to send a delegation to China for the funeral. Lee frowned briefly, only if invited. We must respect protocol. But we can send condolences, flowers, delegates. Let them know we stand in sorrow with them. Over the next days, official letters, floral tributes, condolence delegations, and cultural programming rolled out. The press often showed side-by-side coverage, Korean TV replaying China's national mourning announcements, Chinese stations showing Korea's lantern tribute. Subscribe for more emotional K-drama love stories. In internal reflection, aides noted the uniqueness of this moment. Few heads of state react so publicly to a foreign cultural figure's death. But for Lee, perhaps it was consistent, a politician who often frames himself as a voice for ordinary people, shaped by personal hardship, and who views empathy as part of governance. Over the next week, media commentary surfaced. Some commentators praised Lee's gesture as a proud moment, a leader showing humanity beyond borders. Others critiqued it, saying it might provoke political backlash or diplomatic missteps. One Korean conservative columnist wrote, "Appreciation is fine, but the president should prioritize domestic issues, economy, security, not foreign entertainment tragedies." A cultural magazine retorted, "In a time of entrenched divides, such a gesture reminds us that public sentiment transcends party lines. Art unites people more than politics divides them." In China, fan groups organized a joint Korean-Chinese livestream memorial. In Seoul, a Korean television network posthumously aired selected episodes of dramas starring Yu, with Korean subtitles and commentary, a rare tribute by Korean broadcast standards. K-pop idols tweeted condolences in both Korean and Chinese. Some Chinese actors, in a sudden wave, sent messages, "Thank you, Korea, for standing with us." And quietly in the backrooms of diplomacy, the Korea-China Bilateral Cultural Office noted an uptick in interest for co-productions, exchange film grants, and partnerships in streaming platforms. 1 month later, at the Blue House, President Lee gave a private interview to an arts magazine. He was asked, "Why such a public, emotional reaction to Yu Menglong's death?" He paused, looked out over the cityscape, then said, "Because stories matter. Because when an artist dies, the world loses a voice, a memory, an echo of ourselves. And when that artist builds bridges, across language, across culture, his absence feels like silence in a shared dialogue." I reacted not as a politician first, but as someone who once sat in front of a screen, longing, hoping, dreaming through art. He added, "We are not saying Korea is greater. We are saying humanity is shared. It is moments like this, shared grief, shared tribute, that remind us of what truly matters beyond borders." The interviewer noted that Lee's eyes glistened. In the weeks that followed, more concrete memorials took shape. A Korean university museum flew a Chinese flag beside the Korean one, hosting an exhibit of East Asian television. A joint Korea-China Cultural Fund was established for young actors. South Korean streaming platforms pledged to curate a Yu Menglong tribute collection. Korean Drama Awards nights included a memorial slot. Even years later, clips of that evening in Gwanghwamun, the lanterns, the silence, President Lee bowing among the crowd, would circulate among fandoms as a moment when politics paused and hearts spoke. Subscribe for more emotional K-drama love stories. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next story.